In tonight's Technology Insider, the Verizon strike. Last week, 39,000 landline and cable employees walked off the job. The strike just entered its second week with no end in sight. Joining me with the latest is Brian Fung, technology reporter at the Washington Post. Brian, bring us up to date. What's the dispute here?
Well, the big fight is over benefits and changes to workers' employment situation where jobs are being offshored to foreign countries, and workers are also complaining about being forcibly relocated to distant parts of the network from one state to another for months at a time, potentially risking disruption to family life. And so this has led to a big dispute over labor and the future contracts between Verizon's management and its workers. As you said, no end in sight for the strike, but it looks as though the company is using technology here to try and blunt the worst effects of it.
And am I right, too, that I heard about this also involves offshore call centers? You know, that's a problem when we all call the cable company or anybody. We're talking to somebody in India, some other country.
That's right. That's a big issue at stake here, and the workers who are striking say that more of this offshoring could continue if Verizon doesn't come to terms that are more favorable to the workers and the unions.
All right, the strike, though, is not unique, Brian. In 2011, some 45,000 Verizon workers went on strike for about 2 weeks. But the Verizon dispute of 2011 is different from the Verizon of 2016 because of new technologies. Tell me more.
Well, that's right, and essentially what's going on here is that Verizon spent years laying the groundwork for this, essentially automating a lot of its procedures, making a lot of customer service requests a self-serve process. So instead of calling up a Verizon representative in order to change some details of your plan or ask for details about your bill, you can do all of that online now and do that over the phone. All of this may seem pretty familiar to existing customers, but it's really meant a tremendous change for workers who the company says now can spend more time on more complex problems that customers face. But it's also meant that customers can resolve most of the problems they would call the company for relatively easily, meaning that potentially the company can face an easier problem here when it comes to dealing with the strike.
All right, keeping all of this in mind, what kind of impact has the strike had on Verizon operations?
Well, Verizon says that it hasn't had very many, service disruptions, at this point, it appears that most people have had relatively normal service despite the strike. Verizon says it's brought all sorts of people over from its management side, everyone from lawyers to accountants to tax preparers over to fill in some of the gaps left by these workers walking off the job. And the company says that while these workers will never be as efficient or effective as the frontline workers who are currently on strike, they've been able to minimize some of the disruptions to customer service.
Now, Brian, you're also following a significant price change at Amazon. What's the latest with Prime Video?
Well, Amazon this week announced several new changes to its lineup of products related to Amazon Prime. The first change being that you can now buy Amazon Prime on a monthly basis for roughly $10.99 a month. And this represents a big change from before, where you had to pay a $99 yearly fee in order to reap the biggest benefits of Amazon Prime. That's no longer the case. The other big change here we're seeing is that Amazon is breaking out its Prime Video streaming video service out and selling that as a standalone service, where now you'll be able to buy just the streaming video for $8.99 a month. Now that's causing some pretty interesting changes and questions here about the price difference between the Prime Video service and the main Prime bundle, but it appears as though Amazon is A, going after Netflix here in a big way, and B, trying to entice more customers to sign up for Amazon Prime.
Well, this is news to me because I'm paying the $99 for Amazon Prime. Tell me more about this competition with Netflix.
Well, you're seeing here a tremendous appetite among consumers for online video.
Right.
It's reported that between YouTube and Netflix, these two companies account for over half of the entire U.S. internet market at peak hours on most days, and Amazon accounts for just 3% of this. And so it's something that Amazon really wants to break into is the online video market, because everyone sees a tremendous market opportunity there. At the same time, I think Netflix is likely to respond by leaning more heavily on its international strategy, and Netflix has been responding very aggressively in the international markets and has been gaining customers at a prodigious rate around the globe.
Brian, real quick before you go, if I own Morris Jones Cable Company, should I be worried?
Well, this is merely the continuation of an existing trend we've been seeing here, which is that online video continues to be a huge driver of growth, especially for internet companies. And you see a lot of cable companies that are trying to do the same thing, moving into away from traditional cable bundles to next generation skinny bundles and bundles of existing and exclusive content, kind of mimicking the Netflix model here. So definitely we're seeing a lot more competition in the space, and I'd say stay tuned.
It's great to get the update from you. Brian Fung, technology reporter at The Washington Post. Thanks, Brian.
My pleasure.